On Nationwide this evening, the efforts to increase Ireland's tree cover. On this National Tree Week, we meet those who are dedicated to the task. Also, in Galway, we hear about how a unique tree planting event brought 3 families from different parts of the world together to recognise the tragedy of conflict. Hello, you're welcome to Nationwide. When an individual decides to plant a tree, that's a positive move. So when a group of enthusiastic tree planters get going together, that's more like an environmental movement. Valerie Waters has been to Baldoyle in County Dublin to meet people who are part of the Easy Treesie campaign, which aims to have 1 million trees planted by early 2024.
On this bright March morning in Seagrange Park in Baldoyle in Dublin, migratory geese are grazing. It's not the only activity going on here. Squelching their way through the wet grass, members of the local community, who are mostly from Baldoyle tidy towns, have given over their spare time to check on tree saplings which were recently planted. They are improving the growing conditions by cutting away grass and weeds at the base of the trees. More young trees are also being planted here today.
There used to be no trees here at all.
This patch of the park, beside the football club, is home to trees which were planted by these girls and their schoolmates when they were in primary school.
It was a fantastic day as a community, and as you can see the trees behind me, they've certainly grown and they're fantastic and still going strong.
I think this may be like a hornbeam tree or something. Such a long time ago, I don't even remember. But yeah, these are one of the first trees to come into leaf as spring approaches. I'd say it was about this big while we were in 5th class. And now it's nearly like tripled the size.
This isn't just the community coming out for the benefit of meeting others. Well, there is that. It's a really important aspect. But we're in a climate and biodiversity crisis. So it's so much more now. People are doing it out of concern and also to feel like they're doing something. They're doing something really positive to help with these crises.
The group of volunteer planters are finishing their work today by planting a tree for peace in Ukraine.
And everyone say trees, trees.
The number of trees planted here in Seagrange Park so far by this group is 7,500. That's the equivalent of 1 tree for every resident in Baldoyle. Well done, everyone. The main driver of this campaign of planting is former teacher Orla Farrell, founder of Easy Treesie. She is organising the planting of 1 million trees in locations all over Ireland by early 2024. Last year, at the start of National Tree Week, Nationwide visited Orla in her own garden in nearby Clontarf.
Last year, Valerie, when you visited me, the tree counter was at just over 100,000. This year we're looking to double it again, and we're already at over 300,000 trees this Tree Week 2022. We expect to be at the million by the 2023-2024 planting season. We engaged communities all around the country. The GAA, for example, are this year in 2022 planting 45,000 saplings with us.
The Easy Treesie planting campaign is aimed at getting mostly school children involved in planting young trees. It's a practical way of learning about the many benefits of tree planting. They learn how trees play an important role in the reduction of global warming. At the nearby Baldoyle Racecourse Community Garden, Orla Farrell is having a look at trees that were planted by school children back in 2017. This was the location for the launch of the campaign for planting 1 million trees.
We have the support of a number of nurseries. We've had huge support from Quilta Nursery, who have been most generous with their support, not only in growing saplings for us and even growing particular saplings. We have a very high demand, for example, for smaller saplings such as the hawthorn, the rowan, the birch, the trees that are suitable for suburban gardens, small gardens. Trees on the Land is another charity that has been a great support to us and has supplied 60,000 of our saplings, which we have dispersed around the country to good homes.
50 or so years ago, this mix of deciduous trees were also planted by a community effort in a housing estate in Baldoyle. Una and Sam Wilson are residents here and were part of that neighbourhood group who organised the planting of these stands of trees.
The trees were planted, a few shrubs, but we had a couple of mishaps, but fortunately the local authorities and then subsequently Fingal County Council maintained it superbly, and we're left with this wonderful facility to enjoy, our children, grandchildren to enjoy, and it's been a pleasure to live here and enjoy it.
When you look at what we have here now at this stage after 50 odd years, you can picture for people moving in new into a newly built area maybe, and they have a green area that's just bereft of everything at this stage when they've moved in. You know, you can look here now and appreciate, you know, what we've got now was from just doing that little bit together at the beginning 50 years ago.
Hi, Una! How are you? A little present for your garden.
To celebrate National Tree Week, Orla Farrell of Easy Treesie has given Una and Sam a present of a holly, which is for their own front garden.
Thank you very much.
Orla Farrell's message for this year's Tree Week is this.
I'd like to call on people all over Ireland to plant a sapling this Tree Week. Even if your garden is small, you'll almost always be able to find a corner, even in a pot, for something like a dwarf apple tree or some small species. And on our website, easytreesie.com, we have got some resources on what are suitable trees for small gardens and suitable trees for public areas too.
Well done to everybody involved in the Easy Treesie campaign. Well, I'm going to talk now to somebody who knows an awful lot about trees. That's Éanna Ní Lamhna, the President of the Tree Council of Ireland. What's the theme of National Tree Week, Éanna?
Well, the theme for National Tree Week this year is more forests for a greener future. Trees, of course, take carbon in out of the atmosphere, and that's combating climate change. And indeed, walking about in woodlands and places like this lifts the spirits.
Is there a balance to be struck when it comes to planting trees? Some trees are faster growing than others, some are more commercial than others.
That's true. I mean, in Ireland we have 28 native species that came here under their own steam before Ireland got divided from mainland Europe and from Britain after the Ice Age. So they're like the first class honours job because they came little by little and different ones came. So you have biodiversity, you have genetic variation, you know, you have different ones of those. So they're the 28 honours class ones. They're the ones we really want to plant, deciduous woodland. So that's what we're planting during National Tree Week.
How does Ireland compare with our European neighbours when it comes to forestry and afforestation?
We're not great, I have to say. We have 11% of the country covered in forests, and it's the worst in Europe. Even Britain has 12%. I think ourselves and maybe Luxembourg and Holland, those kind of places, have about the same 11%. Now, afforestation, what you mentioned, is planting trees on land that had no forests in it before. And that's where we fall down. I mean, obviously, if you have a forest and you take out the timber or whatever, there's an obligation to reforest it. And Quilcha, who are our sponsors this year for National Tree Week, Quilcha have been replacing Sitka spruce that they had over the years with deciduous woodland. But when we do the full sums, 11% of the country is not great when you think about it.
Given the state of the planet, if somebody's to plant a tree and it takes 20 or 30 years for it to mature, is that too late for climate change?
We only have now. I mean, when is the best time to plant a tree? The answer is 20 years ago, but the next best time is now. So this is what National Tree Week is about, encouraging people to get their trees from the local authorities, organise events, you know, local communities, groups, what have you, plant their trees, look after them, get them established and realise the importance of them. So, you know, it's not too late, but we need to get cracking because the time is going past and we need those trees in the ground.
And what are the main events for National Tree Week?
We want people to have tree planting events, the people are organising walks, they're having talks. All of this information is on our website, www.treecouncil.ie. Every single county has events happening, and some of them are private, but many of them are public. And if you don't see any event near you, why not organise your own event?
And for more information on National Tree Week, go to the website, which is on your screens now. After the break, we bring you the story of a unique tree planting event which highlighted the futility of war. Stay with us.